Choosing your first hoop can be a bit tricky. The main things you need to consider as a beginner are the size and the weight of the hoop. For the size, ideally you want a hoop that comes from the ground to an inch or two above your belly button if you're standing straight holding it against you. Intermediate, it's around belly button height, and advanced, it's an inch or two below your belly button. Having a larger hoop means the rotations are slower when you're hooping with it, so it's going to be easier to learn tricks because it's like doing it in slow motion. If you start with an advanced hoop, it's going to whiz round like Sonic. You're not going to be able to learn much with it, or it's going to be very tough. The weight of a hoop is measured in PSI. And PSI is the thickness of the tubing that the hoop is made from, but not its diameter. So this is the tubing cut in half. This has a much higher PSI than this tubing. So even though the diameter of this tubing is larger, this tubing is going to be heavier. It's important to not get a hoop that's too light or too heavy. If it's too heavy, it's going to be hard to keep it up and it's going to bruise you when you practice. You're going to get bruised anyway, but it will bruise you faster, which will make it quite hard to practice hooping. If the hoop's too light, it's going to be very difficult to keep it under control. So it's really a personal thing that you need to experiment with different hoops before you purchase one, which I know can be difficult if you're planning to buy one off the internet. Try and find either a friend that has some hoops you can play with, go to a hooping class to try out the hoops and find one you like, or a specialist shop that sells hoops and toy and circusy things that will probably let you test out a few of the hoops to see which one's best for you. The different types of hoop. Obviously you can get a solid ring, you can get a collapsible hoop where the hoop twists into an 8 and folds. Those are nice if you're going to be taking your hoop on the bus or in the car. If you're going to festivals and you have all your gear with you, you don't want a big hoop like banging around, you want to be able to put it on like a necklace and it not really get in the way. There's these lovely break apart hoops that come in, I think, 6 sections. It's sort of this big and like a little rainbow, and you just connect them together. If you connect all 6, you end up with a beginner hoop. If you just connect 5, you end up with an advanced hoop. So you skip intermediate, but you have 2 hoops to practice with. And having an advanced hoop, you can practice off-body moves, which is hard to do with a beginner hoop because it's so big. Tape. Everyone loves tape because it's pretty, but it does actually have a purpose. The tape, not sticks, but it grips on your skin and your clothes. So when you're hooping, it helps keep the hoop or where you want it to be. If you buy a hoop without tape, then obviously you'll need to get some tape to decorate your hoop with. Don't use electrical tape. You'll see it all over the internet if you Google it. Don't use it. I've tried. My first hoop was homemade. It's not grippy. So as a beginner, you really want something that does grip. The most frequently advised tapes I see are gaffer tape, duct tape, hockey tape. I think it's a bit pricey though, I'm not sure. And obviously hoop tapes that you can buy from online. I wouldn't spend too much money on tape though, because for your first hoop, it's going to get messed up really fast, because you're going to drop it a lot on concrete, or it's going to hit walls and the rough ground is going to mess up the tape. So all this fancy sparkly UV tape and stuff, it's probably not worth it to start out with. Wait until you're at a point where you're not dropping your hoop so much and it's not getting roughed up, and then invest in making a nice hoop. That's it.